Tier 7 Skoda T17 is quite a nice introduction for the brand new Czechoslovakian light tank tech tree. Even though it doesn't have this special Autocannon mechanic, it has something pretty damn close to it, or I would even say as close as you can get without having the Autocannon mechanic, because it has the low alpha autoloader gun with 100 alpha damage only. Yes, you know, this is not the greatest alpha damage, but it has 5 shells in the magazine, what you are able to reload fully in, let's say, around 10.5 or 11 seconds, depends which equipment unit you're using, and the reload time between shots is 1.33 seconds, so it is kind of like a mini Skoda T50 or TVP T50-51, you know, as a Tier 7 light tank. And I gotta say, guys, you know, as far as the competitiveness goes, in Tier 7 it definitely was able to hold its ground, and I do like a tank, especially when it is a light tank, that can do something on a bad scouting maps as well. And this gun, I was really enjoying it, and in my battles where I was able to test it out, I was enjoying it a lot actually. And at one point I thought, which other Tier 7 tank I have had so much fun with? I actually couldn't think about that. Now, there are definitely situations where this tank can be a little bit underwhelming, you know, when it is in a Tier 8 battle versus many Tier 8 scouts, or even Tier 9 battles versus some Tier 8s and 9 scouts, because Tier 7, you know, the big caveat over here is that Tier 7 tanks, light tanks, cannot carry CVS, but Tier 8 light tank can carry CVS, so you are going to get outspotted in those type of situations very often. But if you know how to play around it and you're not going to be spotting super aggressively, then you can still do some work in those battles as well. And as far as the mobility goes, you know, it doesn't have the greatest top speed, for sure. 56 top speed, 19 moving backwards, but, you know, let's say it is decent. And with low noise exhaust, with camo, with food, your concealment of the vehicle can be from 40 to 44%, with view range close to 480 meters as well, once again depending which type of equipment units you are using. But overall, I can say I was having a lot of fun, and when I'm talking about all of those tanks over here, I'm trying to give you like 2 ratings, how fun those tanks can be and how competitive those are. And when it comes to this tank, I feel like the number is exactly the same, and I would say I would rate it 8 out of 10. Actually, 8 out of 10. I was in, when I was testing this tank, I was in different types of matchmakings versus Tier 8s, versus Tier 9s, but, you know, of course, where it shines is when you are top tier as well, because then you are kind of a damage dealer. As you can see from this battle, for example, on the background, where I'm going to get Top Gun, and this was my second Top Gun in this, let's say, the first 5 battles I played with it. So I had a pretty crazy start in this tank, but, you know, it was fun, mainly because, as I said, it can do stuff on its own as well. It only doesn't rely on your teammates spotting you. Yes, in higher tier battles, once again, the penetration can be an issue and will be an issue even with premium rounds, but outside that, it was kinda fun. You know, if you like, let's say, Škoda, this is like a baby Škoda. It is a little bit bigger target, so easier for the enemies to hit as well. Kind of a big for a light tank. And when it comes to the light tanks, guys, size matters. And the smaller, the better it is. I would say so. So, ladies and gentlemen, a Skoda T17, actually enjoyable Tier 7 tank, in my humble opinion, of course, guys. And we had some blind damage in this battle, 6 kills, so I think it was 2700 damage done with some assistance as well. But now, moving on to the next one, moving on to the first Autocannon light tank, Blesk. But first, let's talk about new crew skills as well, because I was using exactly the same crew setup on every single tank, on Tier 8, Tier 9 and Tier 10 as well. If I'm not mistaken, on Tier 10 as well, but here it is. Zircon, hopefully you are happy with it. The mighty Zircon is commanding my tank with 1 Christmas curl and 1 Battle Bass curl, I believe. Anyway, talking about new skills, what I have over here. If you have, let's say, only up to 3 skills available, concealment, recon, repairs. If more, then, this is my setup over here. Brothers in arms, repairs, concealment, recon, coordination, guys, and practicality, actually. I'm not using emergency. You can, of course, always use emergency as well, but as a light tank, your main goal is not to get shot, and this could be effective only more towards the late game, let's say. And if you are getting shot in a light tank anyway, usually you are trying to hide, not fight back, so I would say this is not going to be the most useful for you. Sound detection, I normally do not take on light tanks because if you understand how the game sound works, every time artillery shoots at you or fires at you, the sound gets muffled a little bit, so I can detect that on my own. And practicality, just to make the repair and medkits come back faster, is always helpful, I would say so. But coordination, guys, this is actually something that I have been testing, and I'm actually quite happy with it, especially with Skoda T17 when I was playing the coordination with that, because there are so often when you spot someone, it does not have to be the first time spotting them, you mark the enemy tank for the first time. It is activating on every respotting as well, and you have 12.5% faster aiming speed is actually quite nice, especially for autoloaders and autocannons as well, I would say so you can start booming and zooming as fast as possible. So this is what I decided to go on the commander special skills, and now the bonus perks as a radio operator, situational awareness, communication expert, and the jamming, just to be spotted a little bit less. Side by side, guys, don't take on light tanks, because you do not want to be next to your ally, which is also a light tank, because this only kicks in when the ally next to you is of the same type, and you do not want to share spotting, you do not want to share the same bush with another light tank. Your goal is to give as much vision for the team as possible. You can also, of course, go with signal interception, which is absolutely fine, and firefighting as well, but jamming is what I decided to go with over here. When it comes to the gunner/loader, gunner skills, brothers in arms, concealment, repair, snapshot, designated target, kind of a must-have thing, keeps enemies spotted if you aim at them, and also identifies damage modules, and I decided to go with armor. I don't think Deadeye and quick aiming on those tanks are very useful. If you think they are useful, please explain in the comment section, guys. Then the loaders, bonus perks, intuition, definitely must have, especially on tier 8, 9 and 10 autocannons, because you have that magical HE. If you see very lightly armored tanks or lightly armored light tanks, tank destroyers, you can just switch to a high explosive clip in 3.5 seconds, 4 seconds, and deal actually massive amount of damage. Then adrenaline rush I decided to go with because this got, in my opinion, it got buffed, because now your vehicle can be under 25% hit points and not only under 10% what it used to be. But of course the gun loading speed was decreased as well, down to 5%. But I like this type of, or this version of adrenaline rush actually more. And finally I decided to go with perfect charge for increased shell velocity. Still testing phase, but might be something to look out for. Faster shell velocity helps you to hit moving targets better with the autocannon bursts, especially when leading them, and could be useful. Ammo tuning always nice as well, lowers the minimum roll, but because, let's say, only 12 alpha damage, as this is percentage based, is it going to even affect it, is my question. And close combat not doing that for sure. Finally, we have the driver. It does have quite a nice, or those tanks have quite a nice terrain resistance numbers, but you cannot have enough of that, because where light tanks usually get stuck or are the slowest is the roughest terrains, and I'm boosting that with off-road driving, smooth ride, concealment of course must have, those top 3 kind of must have. I'm actually keeping the repairs as the final one over here, and clutch braking as well, because tier 8, 9 and 10, those can get some use out of clutch braking. You can go with engineer as well, let's say, for extra drop speed, but this is what I did do, and what I actually enjoyed. So now back to the VZ64 Blesk, and the battle you were watching in the background was me actually playing this with the Top Gun 37mm. I am mentioning the Top Gun over here because, you know, normally you would of course play this tank with the Top Gun, but I was honestly testing it with the stock gun as well, and here you can see both of them. And this stock gun was kind of intriguing to me because of this 3,000 rounds per minute rate of fire, guys, in World of Tanks, not in a special overwhelming fire game mode, but actually in the game. And I wanted to test it out, and to be honest with you guys, this gun actually kind of slapped as well. The damage output, you know, especially with high explosive rounds, like, guys, 1,600 clip damage potential in only a second. And you know what? I actually felt it as well. There was one moment where enemy Blesk was legitimately destroying me, like annihilating me. It's because it is so easy to penetrate other Blesks as well, right? But I was testing it at first because they have the same dispersion values and also the same aiming time, but of course less alpha damage, even though the Top Gun has less shells, but you know, more alpha damage and still able to dish out damage faster. It also has better DPM as well, slightly more high explosive penetration and more high explosive damage, so you know, it is way better for the situations where you are not able to keep your gun busy for that long, right? But overall, Blesk, what I can say about this vehicle, I have to be honest and say I did not enjoy it as much as I did enjoy Skoda T17, but it was not terrible. For sure, it was not terrible. I would rate it out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10, or maybe slightly like 6.9. No pun intended, guys. Actually, thinking about rating it 6.9 out of 10. It was fun. Yes, when we talk about the fun factor of this tank, it was fun. Like all those Autocannon tanks, they are more fun than anything. Kind of a special theme, what you're going to hear me saying about every single tank over here. Every single Autocannon, tier 8, 9 and 10. They are very fun to play. And in all honesty, I will take this type of vehicle approach more than something completely overpowered. You know, which is going to be nerfed in like 2-3 patches. You had your fun and now it is simply going to sit in your garage. This tank, yes, it makes you work a bit more than any other light tank, but it is fun to get those bursts in. You know, those moments when you're able to circle someone with high explosive rounds or high explosive clip, or the moments you're able to circle anyone at all, at any time. In this vehicle is worth it. Yeah, it is like worth it. It is in many situations all of those Autocannon tanks. This goes to this tank, the Blesk. This goes to Šelma. This goes to the Tesák, VZ71. In so many situations, those tanks struggle. Like when you have time to take a one quick shot when you have to pull back, you would do so much better in any other light tank. In AMX 13105, which is an autoloading light tank, in Panzerwagen, in D100, and then so on. Because you do not have that initial damage, you do not have that initial alpha damage, and in so many situations, I was able to burst someone behind the corner for like 1 second and able to deal 150 damage, right? When in any other light tank I would have done 300 damage, let's say. And the games are filled with those type of situations where you're only able to take a shot, or when you're able to shoot at someone for only 1 second. half your shells bounce, half your shells miss maybe in the autocannons, and the other half goes in and you deal like 150, 200, 250, sometimes, 300 damage and so on. And this is where those tanks struggle the most when it comes to dealing damage, right? But this is a light tank, it is not only about dealing damage. How about spotting? How about being sneaky? Well, none of those tanks are the sneakiest ones, but I would say those are not extremely terrible either. If you know what you're doing in light tanks, you can make light tanks work, even bad light tanks work. Right, but if you don't have the gun backing it, none of those are very fun to play. But this one, it has a weird gun, it has a weird satisfaction to it when you're able to clip someone with high explosive rounds, and this is where it is the most deadly. All those autocannon light tanks are the deadliest versus lightly armored tanks or non-armored tanks. And I'm actually scared to play any lightly armored tank right now. I'm scared to play my Guerrilla 15 or my Panzerwagen or FE40 or 5 because how deadly those tanks are. Tier 8 can do 1600 damage into your face in a couple seconds. It can actually one-shot Panzerwagen, for example, or, one clip. Panzerwagen, for example, or lightly armored light tanks. It can just out of you in the game, or from the game and back in the garage. So, yeah, this is like overall theme where those tanks struggle, having no armor as well at the same time, of course. And the Blesk tier 8, yeah, 6.97 out of 10. It is better than the tier 9 we are going to talk about now, actually. LPT-67 Selma. It is just too big, guys. In my opinion, for a light tank, it looks more like a medium tank. It honestly looks more like a lower profiled medium tank. It is big, it is large, it feels sluggish to even drive. I can't explain it to you why or how, but it does feel sluggish to drive for some reason. Even though it has, solid traverse speed, 53.31, 62 top speed with CBS coated optics, low noise exhaust. And by the way, those were the setups I was using on all of those besides Skoda. On Škoda T17 I was using low noise exhaust, coated optics and ventilation because it can't carry CBS, right? But this one, camo, yes, it has quite a decent camo, guys. 46, not the best, but 46% camo over here, 493 meter view range. DPM, we have 2700, but, this is just a theoretical DPM because you're not able to empty your clips that fast into the enemy tanks almost never, I would say so, right? Almost never. You have 12 damage with this shell over here, and as you can see, you have you can see that from here, you have 75 shells in the magazine. So 75 times 12, this is your clip damage potential. Or 24 damage with high explosive, and this is where those tanks rip, like tier 8, 9, and 10, the high explosive rounds. This is my favorite thing to do in those tanks. Hunt lightly armored tanks. Or you can get, through quite a lot of tanks from the rear as well, with 50 millimeters of penetration. But is it worth the risk? Well, it is up to you. Another tank which is annoying me about this Šelma is the -7 degrees of compression. This has been quite annoying in many situations, and as you saw from the background battle as well, I was trying to clip that bloody Rheinmetall over there, right? I was trying to clip, but I simply couldn't get enough compression. I couldn't get enough compression, while the Blesk had -10 degrees. A Blesk would have been able to clip that Rheinmetall over there from full HP. No issues whatsoever from that range. Just burp, burp, burp. Just control your burps and you're able to do that. But in this tank, -7 degrees of compression ain't no way. But overall gun handling of this was kinda nice. It has no armor whatsoever. The upper blade can bounce some very tiny rounds, but overall, whatever it's going to see you is able to penetrate you very easily, including high explosive rounds, of course. 1200 hit points, 62 top speed, like, it's massive in size. I was not honestly very fond of this vehicle, and the fun game out only when I was able to clip something with high explosive. Like, the background battle was very juicy. That was actually very juicy, you know, close to 10,000 combined damage, and able to use AP rounds, able to utilize the high explosive rounds as well, clipping the SU 130 PM from full HP, just like that in a matter of seconds. Before that guy was actually, you know, able to react to it fully. All that is nice, but outside of that, yeah, I was not very impressed with the Šelma. Or Šelma? LPT-67, guys. Šelma. Sorry, all my Czechoslovakian viewers. So, to rate this tank, because of the fun factor it can have when circling someone, 6 out of 10. Maybe 5 out of 10. Maybe average. Yeah, let's say 5 out of 10. From me, at least. Moving on to the tier 10, to the cherry on the top of the cake, WZ-71 Tesak. And right from the get-go, we are going to start off with what I was saying before. You know, many matches will be filled with those type of situations where you are not able to fully burst someone down because you do not want to reveal yourself too much. There is always threat looking at you, like in this battle, or enemies simply able to run away before you're able to done bursting it down. And in this case, I was able to do 321 damage. If I would have been in AMX 13... 105 over here, I would have done 390 to the Leopard, and I would have done 390 to the AMX 30B as well. But instead, how much did I do to the 30B? 155 damage, right? So, because it doesn't have that initial kick, it is dealing less damage in many situations. And you are going to see moments like that more and more in this battle, which overall I would say was actually perfect battle showcasing this tank on this map, tier 10, full tier 10 battle on Overlord. You are going to see exactly what is good about this tank, and you are going to see exactly what is bad about this tank. You know, it is not like the most perfect matchmaking, because we are fighting versus one light tank and no other light tanks, like no T100 LTs that can be a problem for this tank to penetrate actually, or Manticore that can outspot you. You know, yes, we are missing those situations over here, but overall you're going to see many situations and moments like that, like, you know, AMX 30B over here, bursting it down and able to do 384 damage. So after all that bursting over here, I was able to do what, let's say AMX, yes, 1390 or even WZ-132-1 would have been able to do with a single shot, right? So we have figured that out. This tank is not the best in those situations. And the Tesak is the tank you have seen the most on this channel, because this was the tank I was able to test out on the test server battles as well. No other tank, sadly, because there was no matchmaking for those tier 9s and tier 8s. And I was honestly waiting. Boom, that was a juicy clip though, or juicy burst over here. 600 damage done. Here is, by the way, where it shined. Here is where it did more than all the other tanks, guys, because I was able to burst that guy down for a bit longer. And Judas actually got a very lucky shot into me as well. I should have been able to escape that situation without receiving any damage, but, you know, sometimes it is not meant to be. But because I was only able to test this tank out on the test server, you heard me saying that multiple times, that I am going to give my final rating of this tank when it actually comes to the live server. When I'm actually playing against players who care, right? Who care what is happening, who do not YOLO down, because sometimes on the test server in YOLO battles I was dead in the first 2 minutes, or if we were able to survive YOLOing, I was able to do a lot of damage. You know, no like average battles to showcase. And after I have played this tank for quite some battles on the live server. This battle, by the way, happened on the NA client, because NA received it a day earlier, and I was able to test it out on the NA server, so I played on the NA server. I can't say, as far as the fun factor goes, once again, I would rate it 7.5 maybe even. Yeah, I would rate it like 7.5 or maybe even 8. I was having fun in this. But as far as the competitiveness, I would not rate this tank in any circumstances for my AMX 13105, which I absolutely love. Or for my Panzerwagen, which I love as well, especially after the Panzerwagen was buffed. T100LT, would I play this tank instead of, or trade this tank for T100LT? Maybe. T100LT is amazing light tank, guys. It can do it all. You know, it can even pound shells, it can spot, it can be sneaky, it can do damage, it can do spotting, it can do it all. But, you know, T100, it's just, sorry to say, but it's kind of boring to me. Maybe I'm the only one, maybe I'm not the only one. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that tank yourself. But this is how I feel about it, right? So, yes, as far as the competitiveness, 5 out of 10, 6, 5.5 out of 10. Is it going to reach 6 out of 10? Yeah, maybe 6 out of 10 as well, if you struggle hard enough, like, you know, we are going to be able to do in this battle, for example. Because we have so many bushes, so many trees, so many reach lines to simply abuse, to keep enemy tanks spotted all the time, to outspot medium tanks, to do our 400 or 200 damage bursts over here. All those things are nice over here, loading AG actually, and hoping to hit that F245 blindly. I'm going for a full burst over here, or as long, I was going for as long as this E4 allowed me to go. I am over here, I was actually honestly afraid of that E4 fully coming in, YOLOing me down over here, luckily stopped on the reach line and does not go in. You do not see the outlines over here. Now you did see the outline, are you going to see it? No, and now you don't see the outline, because replays still have the outline bug. This, I guess, is simply not Wargaming's #1 priority to fix. Sometimes the outlines work, you know, you being able to see through the bushes or not. When I, you know, inside the game, when I was playing it live, I was clearly able to see them, but the replay simply doesn't show it, like in this case. Like, you can see the penetration indicators turning itself green or red, but you simply don't see the outline. So this is a bug, something you have to know, I guess, something I have to tell you about. It is what it is, guys. We have very low HP E4 over here, and high explosive rounds on this tank are kind of special, you know, they deal damage more than 0. This is what Wargaming said, at least, that you know, no matter where you hit, how thick the armor is, you are at least going to deal 1 damage, and this is very nice. You know, this tank makes a very nice T-capper, or a very nice tank to knock out the tank like E4, or tanks that have 30, 40, 50 hit points. You're able to burst them down, guaranteed at least. And, you know, as far as this tank being sneaky, it doesn't have the worst camo, but it also doesn't have the best camo. It has like the Sheridan level camo, or the VZ level camo. Not the sneakiest tank, not the highest view range over here. It is more like a hybrid, special Kimiki gun system, which is the Autocannon combined with some sneakiness and some camo. So if you are into this type of tank, more looking for a fun, more looking for something completely different, then yes, the Tesák can be yours. As I said once again, I was having quite some fun in it. And in this battle as well, I was actually enjoying this battle. I was feeling in my element, because there is only one enemy light tank still left. It is the Tesak. This guy is the only one I have to worry about. I have to look out for, because Tesák has not been spotted for a very long time and could pop out from anywhere. I am just trying to play it safe, trying to find either Judes or FE or 30B or that Tesák, as far as, you know, the most dangerous enemies go over here. Judas's last known position was T9, if I'm not mistaken, and I believe that guy continues staying at T9. So chilling over here for a little bit, hoping maybe enemy Tesák makes a move and I'm able to catch that guy off guard, because I am one shot to quite some tanks over here. I am a potential one shot to Judas 15-16, and I'm not able to burst that 30B down. I am not able to burst that guy down, and I would have been able to maybe potentially knock that guy out with 13-105. Once again comparing it. I should stop that. Why am I comparing it to 13-105 all the time? Maybe because it is the closest to the Tesák you can get without having the autocannon, right? Autoloader. Here is Judas. Judas still was sitting over there, and now I decided to move in, and we have a little surprise waiting us over here, guys. Enemy Tesák, who was able to burst me a little bit, down to a one-shot to absolutely every tank besides Tesák now on the enemy team. And I am in a bit of a trouble over here, actually, so I have to outplay that Tesák somehow. There is 30B coming in, and 30B luckily missed the shot, guys. And now Tesák is coming in. I actually did not reload. I did not reload over here. Usually I instantly reload, but this time I didn't, because I had plenty of shells left to take out enemy Tesák before this guy can take out me. And this time it worked out flawlessly. I'm out of AP rounds almost. I do not even have full clip of AP round over here. There is artillery bursting it blindly, and hiya. That was beautiful for you. This is what Uncle Roger would say. That was beautiful, just spraying it down, and one of my shots, one of my stray shells actually hit that guy while the arty was trying to run away. Now going for the APCR clip, and Panzer 7 has been destroyed. Beautiful. Hiding from the maybe Judas repositioned, maybe FE repositioned, quickly hiding, and we are going back in. We do not have much time left over here, as you can see. 1 minute left on the clock. 1 minute to find the FE, 1 minute to find Judas, to grab the W. Is it going to be a draw or a win? I believe it is impossible to lose it now, because we have one arty who is sitting at K2 or K1, sorry. So it is only time, or we only have time to either win it or to lose it. Here is FE 4005. I'm getting ready, and let the burst start. This guy stopped over here actually, and well, I did not destroy this guy in time, but luckily teammates were able to do it. Still solid amount of damage done, 5,261 damage done so far, and we are hoping that Judas is still sitting in the same position, and I'm hoping that our artillery is actually pre-aiming in. Judas indeed has not moved, but sadly, ladies and gentlemen, you didn't see that because of no outline, but that Judas was already looking at me, already pre-aimed, so I was not able to hit basically any shots, and time is up. Battle is over, and it is a draw. But very nice battle still, showcasing the good things, showcasing the bad things of Tesák. Once again, as far as the fun goes, 7.5. Sometimes if the matchmaking is very filled with lightly armored tanks, I have the secondary ammunition loadout with way more high explosive clips, then the fun factor can be 8.5. Yes, it is devastating, deadly versus those tanks, but in any normal matchmaking with many other light tanks as well, Manticore, D100, 13-105, EBR, the competitiveness can be way lower, of course, like 6 out of 10 I would say, or 5.5 out of 10, but as I said at the start of the video, I actually take the fun factor over competitiveness, because we have a huge array of tanks in World of Tanks already, and I do not want them to be all on the same level with fun factor, with the balance and all that. So I guess I will forgive it because of that, but it also comes down to how easily you get frustrated if something, you know, clearly outplays you. It also comes down to that. But guys, please let me know what you think about the Czech light tanks so far, tier 7, 8, 9 and 10. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have tested those out, if you're going after those tanks, and maybe you have something to say overall. I thank you so much for tuning in. I thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you were able to pick something up from here. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, thumbs down button is for that. I thank you for your time. I catch you next time. Stay awesome, stay beautiful, stay sexy, take care and bye.